So my next one, this is a Jefferson quote for you, and that is, "The strongest reason for the people to retain the right to keep and bear arms is as a last resort to protect themselves against tyranny in government." That was, once again, Thomas Jefferson. So remember what they were doing. They were going to go to Lexington and Concord. And what were they going to do? They were going to take the arms from these people because they were willing to fight, evidently, for their liberty and to be able to protect themselves against tyranny. And what were they going for? They were going for the arms and the ammo. You're probably not familiar, but if you are familiar with the firearms industry as of late, firearm sales have reached an all-time high. And that was right before the inauguration, because the new guy, who you think is different from the old guy because he's got change, you mark my words, he's heading out there to take, restrain, restrict, and remove the firearms from the people. And it's no different than any other time in history. It's the same thing coming around again. And you, the viewer, you, the listener, you, the people out there, it's going to be you who keeps liberty or lets it go. So a little bit there on the Second Amendment for you. And once again, that was, the piece, and I've got another piece from the Disney Johnny Tremain movie, which I think, there's actually two pieces I'd like you to see. And we'll show them now for you. And get to think of, once again, the idea being bulletproof. The Bill of Rights, it's important. What do you stand for? What do you want for your future generations?
I hate the presence of these troops of the ministry as much as any of you. But we are not going off into a civil war just to get them out of Boston. Tell me why, then. Why do we fight?
To end tyrannous taxation.
Something more important than our precious pocketbooks. But what is it?
The rights of Englishmen.
Ah. Now we have a glimmer. And it is prophetic that it should shine brightest in the eyes of youth. Rights, yes. But why stop with Englishmen? Is the earth so small there can be room for only one people? Or can we here fight for men and women and children all over the world? For this we can have war. That there shall be no more tyranny. That a few men cannot seize power over thousands. That wherever the sun shines, a man shall choose who shall rule over him. The rights of Englishmen, you say, lad. The battles we shall win over the worst in England will benefit the best in England until the end of time. Even as we shoot down British soldiers, we will be winning rights their children shall enjoy forever. And the peoples of the world, the peasants of France and the serfs of Russia, shall see freedom rising like a new sun in the west. For this we fight, those natural rights God has given every man, no matter how humble or crazy. They say my injury bashed the wits from my head. That's what you think, isn't it, Sammy?
Oh, certainly not, sir.
Perhaps it's true. Some of us will give our wits. Some will give our property. Let those of substance among you think of that. Gold and jewels and fine great houses. Hurts, doesn't it? You, friend Paul, God made you to fashion silver, not to make war.
There's a time for casting silver, time for casting cannon. If that isn't in the writ, it should be.
And you, Dr. Warren, of what use are the fine mind and the skilled hands of the surgeon when they have been mangled in battle?
Then others must do what I no longer can.
And you who are so young, some of you must die. To die young is more than dying. It's to lose so large a part of life. You, my old friend, my old enemy, how can I call you? Even you will give the best you have. A genius for politics. And we need you, Sammy. For we must fight this war in Meeting House, in Congress, in the halls of Parliament, as well as on the field. But what it's all about, you'll really never know. And yet it is so much simpler than any of you think. We give all we have. We fight. We die for a simple thing. Only that a man can stand.
This is the scene at the end of the movie where the British general, Gage, realizes that this is much bigger than just he's besieged now in Boston, where, he was the ruling military in the area, and all of a sudden he realizes there's been a sea change. And it's a sea change in the minds and the way that the people think in Boston. And he looks out over across the harbor, and he sees the lights of the bonfires, for that now the British are surrounded, and that these people, once they've started fighting for their liberty, they won't give it up. And it won't die no matter how many that they kill, no matter how many they imprison, they torture, anything. Very important. It's like he realizes that this is where the war was lost.
History holds no parallel to it, sir. An untrained, undisciplined rabble turning an orderly retreat into a rout in spite of anything we could do.
They fired on us from every tree and dunghill the whole way back. But never once did we have an enemy with whom we could close.
You see those campfires, gentlemen? Yesterday we ruled over Boston. Tonight we are besieged in it. And still they come from every village and farm. Tonight 10,000, tomorrow perhaps twice 10,000. We've experienced more than a defeat, more than a mere misfortune of war. We have been vanquished by an idea, a belief in human rights.